I have always wanted to be a nurse, and ever since at the age of 5, my first career choice of becoming Santa Claus fell through. But on a serious note, my father was the one that really inspired me to become a nurse. And while I didn't always agree with my father while I was growing up about nursing as a career, he was right on.
Many years ago, I had my own health issue, and I was a patient at Hermann Memorial City. And the nurses there took such exquisite care of me that although I had a degree in a different field and had been working, that's actually when I really felt the calling to try to go into nursing.
My daughter was born premature, and she was in the NICU for some time. And the interaction I had with those nurses just kind of confirmed that that's what I wanted to do. It was like an aha moment, you know.
Third grade, distinctly remember it. Catholic girl was asked by my faith, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to care for people. So that was either a nun or a nurse, and I had a crush on a little boy in my class, so I didn't think the nun thing was probably going to work out for me, so I thought I'd be a nurse.
The old TV show Emergency with Nurse Dixie and John and Roy, the paramedics, that was during my growing up years. So Nurse Dixie was one of my role models that I wanted to be a nurse.
Watching ER on TV, of course, and was just always really intrigued by that, by the way the doctors and the nurses worked together and took care of patients, of course, very dramatically, but nonetheless, they got through the shift and were great friends, but also did heroic things to take care of patients, and so that was very inspiring for me.
I just always knew I was going to be a nurse. It was never a question in my mind from when I was a little kid to when I grew up, and that was just what was going to happen.
When I was a child, at a really very early age, I really was doing playhouse, wherein I will be the nurse. You know, not a doctor, but a nurse, and I really enjoy that. I put my hands on my doll, or I play talk with my doll, and so that's the start.
Well, both of my parents are in the medical profession. My father was a physician, my mom is a nurse, and so I guess seeing their years of lifelong service really and a lot of volunteerism, it's like this felt very natural.
I chose nursing at the age of around 8 or 9, and it was taking care of my grandmother.
In high school, I was a first responder. I was basic life support first responder and rode and actually drove an ambulance later in life, and that's kind of where it all started.
My mother is a nurse. So we've grown around, my brother and I grown around the hospital, the importance of serving others. So that's how I decided I want to be a nurse.
I was inspired way back at age 14. I was a candy striper at the hospital, and I watched many people suffering and wanted to be a part of the healing.
I'm actually a family of nurses and doctors. So my dad is a doctor, and when I was growing up, he had a small clinic. Those were the days when you actually boil needles. Like, there's no disposable needles in a small town, a third world country. So I used to assist him.
So after high school, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the only one that doesn't know what they're gonna do with their life. And one day I just prayed. I prayed and I said, God, what do you want me to do with my life? And a few days after, the answer was clear. My dad came to me and he said, why don't you think about nursing? And I chose it, and I've never looked back.
When I went to HBU, that was my college, I went with a friend because we both wanted to be doctors. And after my first semester, I had learned that I had to take a lot of math, and I'm not good at math. Nursing was a close second, so that's when I went ahead and switched. But the next class I took was maternal infant care, taking care of pregnant mom, delivering babies, and I said, this is it. I will stay in nursing.
I just have this sort of personality of, oh, I want to help. I want to be a helper. So nursing just kind of seemed like the logical thing, and my mother's a nurse, so she was a really good role model. So at 18, I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I did.
So in my senior year of nursing school, I decided that I would do my last rotation on an oncology floor at Johns Hopkins. And I thought it would really give me exposure to dying patients. and found out that that's not at all what oncology nursing was about, and just absolutely fell in love with the subspecialty, with the discipline.
As a young child, I used to want to be a teacher, a nurse, or an airline stewardess. So in looking at all that, my dad was a Methodist minister, he's a pastor, and he serves others in that role, and all of those roles that I would mention as a child were service roles. So I found that nursing would encompass all of those.